Robert Kennedy, thanks for taking a minute. Simple question.
Tucker, it's good to see you. Listen, you're a Bitcoin maximalist. You're Bitcoin forever.
I hate this central bank digital currency.
Hey, I don't have all the answers, but together, I know we can find them.
Down in competition in the ratings tab for late night weekend viewers.
Everybody, welcome to Rob Nelson Live. It's Monday night. This is kind of an offbeat show. I'm scheduling it. I'm recording it right early and scheduling it. But we'll just jump into things. I want to jump in on Donald Trump. So Donald Trump hosted. Yeah, so we all talk about Donald Trump all the time. Donald Trump is hosting the Kennedy Center Awards, and last night. And classic Trump, right? He takes over the Kennedy Center thing. He's rebuilding things in the building, makes himself the president, the chairman of it, then holds the awards. Of course, the media goes ballistic on him, saying that he's appointed himself, he's put himself in charge. Now they kind of shunned him. So that's what Trump does. You shun him, he steps in and tries to take control of the whole thing when he has the power, right? But they did a definite double middle finger to him. They were like, take this. They do it every time. They don't seem to learn that when they do this, he comes back with this. And it's like scissors, rock, paper. They do the scissors, he comes in with a rock every single time. Every single time. So, bottom line, what's the relevance of that? Well, because just days before they were saying Trump is fatigued and tired, and his eyes are closing, and it made me realize every month or so maybe it's every week sometimes, for as long as I can remember, people have been coming at the media comes at Trump, and the Democrats come at Trump and say something about how he's like kind of tired, worn out, he's incompetent. Maybe he should be 25th Amendmented. Maybe he's cognitively not all there. Wow, he's looking tired. He's got to be so over it. He's after the first impeachment. He so wishes he wasn't president anymore. He's so regretting this. Reporters, Jake Tapper, you could see in his face the president's tired, clearly not happy at this point, being where he's at. And it's like they just keep ruling him out, down, finished, depressed, over. He never is. He hasn't been for 8 years. He's like the Energizer Bunny. So on the one hand, you got to pick a lane, right? I mean, his eyes closed a little bit next to Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, like this, and then he nodded and opened them again. He's tired. He's sleepy. I'm sorry. Did you overlook Joe Biden falling asleep standing up? I mean, first of all, Joe Biden didn't fall asleep at cabinet meetings because he never had them, because he was sleeping the whole fucking time. I mean, it becomes absurd. I don't think you get the backlash this creates. It's like the more that you attack him, the more power he gets. It's like because people see the lie. They see the lie of it all. And whether you like Trump or not, there's things he's doing I'm not a fan of. But it's like at a certain point, you can't accuse the guy of being tired and not up for the job. I mean, he's run circles around 40-year-olds. I mean, he's literally going all day, traveling everywhere, making deals left, right, and center, talking to the press every chance he gets, holding things, signing this, doing that, jumping on planes everywhere, and hosting award shows on Sunday. Plus, he's got plenty of time to do his socials and tweets and put stuff on True Social and throw his trolls out there. I mean, how can you accuse the guy of like not being up for the job energy-wise? Like it's absurd. Especially when you all ignored the fact that the man who really wasn't up for the job, who really probably shouldn't have even been anywhere near the Oval Office, who had cancer and undiagnosed or diagnosed some form of dementia and could barely stand straight, walk straight, keep his eyes open. You said he was more fit than anyone? He's as fit as anyone's ever been in the presidency, or just about anyone. It's just absurd, the hypocrisy. And it just shows how deep, 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 deep the derangement goes. Now, I'll give credit to somebody who didn't go there. Erica Kirk went to the to the Deal Book Summit, which is Andrew Ross Sorkin's deal. He's a New York Times financial writer, and he's also a CNBC host and an author. Um, but it is tied to the New York Times in a way. And Elon Musk has been featured, Jeff Bezos. Charlie Kirk was supposed to be there. Erica Kirk was the featured speaker. The Sorkin started Deal Book, and it's his thing. She was the featured speaker, which I thought was an interesting and shows you again there's room for dialogue even with people we probably have some fair disagreement with. Um, and Sorkin brought up gun control and said that Charlie was a big Second Amendment believer, and he said, "I'm curious how you think today about gun violence in America given what happened to him." It was a thoughtful way to ask the question, and her response acknowledged that. She said it's a thoughtful question, and I wouldn't wish upon anyone what I've been through, and I still support the Second Amendment. But there's a bigger and deeper conversation, um, and that's the mental health and anxiety and depression we're in. And I've said this before. She says, what I've realized through all of this is that you can have individuals that will always resort to violence, um, where they think violence is the solution to not wanting to get a different point of view. That's not a gun problem. A deeply human. It's a soul problem, and I would agree. And I think when it comes to Trump, we have a version of that in our society on steroids. The Keith Olbermann being the extreme example, but and much of the media. There's an aversion to hearing or seeing anything about him positive. Therefore, it has to be the most negative, the most hateful. He has to be the worst of all things. He can be doing some things right, some things wrong, and you can disagree about them and their policy differences, and those policies can change and will change in a couple of years because I don't see the Republican majority holding together the way it is now without Trump. He's unique in his ability to hold that coalition together. And I think with the economy the where it is and healthcare questions and costs, Republicans are going to have a hard time in the midterms right now unless they radically change something. And that would include Trump acknowledging there's a problem, which he's not. So anyway, there is there, there there's room in all of this to recognize that our big problem is not being willing or able to hear what we don't want to hear, to shutting off, to just blindering, to blindering, to blindering. That's the scary part of all this. That that just won't see or hear. That leads to really, really bad things. It leads to death. It leads to violence. It leads to complete meltdown. It ruins relationships. It's beyond unhealthy. It is it's corroding us from the inside out. I mean, that's a bigger disease. I hate to say it, but Trump derangement syndrome is a bigger disease than anything Trump could do. It's more damaging, will cause more harm than anything Donald Trump could actually do on his own. Policy, I swear to God, it's just rotting the souls. And we're in this two-sided rock. And I watch Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I don't know where she really stands. I mean, I don't know. Is she self-interested? Sure, all politicians are to some extent focused largely on themselves. But she went on 60 Minutes, and Leslie Stahl um, immediately. And I was on 60 Minutes years ago. Leslie Stahl interviewed me in very different tone, very supportive of what I was doing, very encouraging, and she's immediately, challenging. But you did this, but did you do? And she voice goes up, the energy. It's the attack mode. And Marjorie Taylor Greene calmly says, "But it's about MTG raising the rhetoric and attacking people." She's like, "But that's what you're doing to me right now." And Leslie Stahl's like, "No, I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you. Answer my question." Like about you using the rhetoric. And Marjorie Taylor Greene's like, "But you are. You're doing the very thing you're accusing me of." And Leslie Stahl's like, "I don't call people names," but she's all hostile, like all attacking. Like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you on this question about using the rhetoric. You don't get to apologize and say, it's gone too far because you helped fuel the fire. All right, I think Marjorie Taylor Greene admitted she done that, but you admit it, you get nothing. You admit it, and they go, "Oh, great! So now you want out because Trump went after you." I don't know why she wanted out. I'm sure it hurt to have Trump go after her. One, she's gotten more death threats than you can imagine. Two, she was his main ally getting everybody else on board and voted with him so much of the time, like a perfect record. His biggest supporter, like plays for the team and gets booted when it appears to be she pushes for the Jeffrey Epstein files to be released. And she's big on like, well, I'm not going to back down for like standing up for women, young women who've been abused, sexually trafficked, taken advantage of by rich, powerful men. I don't know if Trump was trying to cover something. I don't know what the deal is. I know she should get the chance to say, I've gone too far with this. I think we should back it up. And instead, it's like, oh, you went too far with it. You're the cause of it. You're the cause. And it's the same mindset. It's just so corrosive. We'll never get to grow. We'll never get progress from it. We'll stay stuck, which is a really sad thing if you think about it. But we'll just stay stuck in it and go round and round. And when Trump's gone, that corrosive cancer won't be gone. It'll stay. It'll translate to other things. It already does. It translates. It's why we have so much conflict in our civil society, why people are shooting each other, road rage left, right, and center, fights on airplanes, kids doing literally group gangs, like gang fight riots. Why all this is happening, why people, are screaming at each other everywhere. It's not just about Trump. It's about a toxicness that's seeped into our culture and our society. And Trump's just a like lightning rod for it. When he's gone, it'll still be there. It'll still be there. It's like we kind of need to have a sort of a truth-telling moment about ourselves. And that's why I think Erica Kirk on Deal Summit was a big deal. And again, backing up to where I started with Trump, I don't care. Really don't care if Donald Trump, he's going to be gone in a couple years. Like, like I've said, I'm not 100% of a fan of everything he's done. I'm not a fan of what they're doing with the extent to which they're pushing the deportations. But I said it before, and the New York Times just came out with this thing, kind of finally 5 years later, acknowledging that Biden was warned in a memo early on what could happen if he kept the borders open the way he was, the mess it would be. And you kind of go back and watch the rows, hundreds and hundreds of people flowing down, climbing walls, going over, under. It was like everywhere. Now they're gone. Everyone said, no, we didn't do anything. Of course you did. You green lit it. You said, come on, everybody, come on, free entry, no questions asked. Come on, we'll even give you benefits. And people came. They came from all over Latin America. They came from other countries down to Latin America to come in. It was like the Caravan Express. It was like free smorgasbord. Get into the U.S. now while you can. It was a mess, and they denied it and they lied about it. And you do that long enough, and I've said you get the backlash, you get the boomerang. And the boomerang is now, one, you have a lot of people who shouldn't be here, unvetted. You do have a lot of people who are not well, who are criminals, who are doing and have done really bad things and don't belong here. You also have a lot of people who maybe aren't working very, who just got in for free. And then you have some who are. And you have many who were here illegally, who created real lives and jobs and families and everything for themselves. Those are the people that unfortunately get hurt. Now, hopefully, they've been here long enough to establish more of a citizenship relationship. But those are the people that are getting hurt the most. And I'm saying, yes, people go, well, they came in illegally too. All right, we all did something wrong at some point. At a certain point, give it up. If you did it 15 years ago and you've made good on it, I think you get a pass. That's how I look at it. But all the people that just came over, now you got a real problem, because now you got people tired of it, and it started to affect everybody, and people felt like their communities were being overrun with it, and their resources were being used to take care of it. Not just in California, not just in Texas. Suddenly it was hitting New York City and hitting Chicago, and Chicago didn't seem to mind. But ask the people if they minded. The government may not. So you created this backlash, and now that backlash is ice going everywhere, and it's unfortunate, and I think it's too much. But I understand where it came from and why. And it's these backlashes, and that's the same thing. I don't respond to that degree. But I said it would happen. I said it would come to this. The pendulum would swing back the other way. I said it would happen. I said it a long time ago. Like before this was as big a conversation on my radio show in KBC years ago. I was like, we don't stop this, it's going to be a mess, and eventually it's going to backlash. And it has. The backlash. It's that simple. Well, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of Trump's Pentagon press policy, shutting down access to anyone who doesn't basically get a sign off from the Pentagon. Basically, it's approved content. That is not how our press should be covering our military complex. I understand the rationale. Yeah, but the press has been unreliable. They've lied, they've made stuff up, and they've leaked stuff. All fair and all true. But the response isn't, therefore, we don't give you anything except what we approve. And we cut you off if you don't just take our pre-approved stuff. That is the definition of a government supported press. I mean, we joked that the Democrats, when in power and Biden was in office, the mainstream media was just largely a spokesperson, talking points for White House talking points, largely just a mouthpiece for the Democrats and Biden. That was true largely. You could see them on unison, all the places having the same points about things. But it's making the Pentagon reporters all have to say stuff that only the Pentagon's approved is the same thing. That's not okay. It's the exact same thing, and it's not good. I don't care what they've done. It's too far and extreme. Like I said, everything boomerangs. Everything boomerangs around, and you end up paying for it. Doesn't make it good. Doesn't make it all right. It's understandable, but not okay. Those are just a couple things. But I like what Trump's doing in a lot of areas, and I think he needs to focus more on the economy and affordability and health care for sure. And if he doesn't, his party's going to pay for it in the midterms. But I'm telling you, the whole political system's going to realign in 2026 anyway. It's all going to realign after the midterms. In 2028, when Trump's gone, whole thing's going to be different. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to be the same Republican coalition. I don't know who could hold that together. Trump was unique in his ability to. I think the Republican Party at that point will kind of fracture, the Marjorie Taylor Greene side over here, the more traditional side over here, as will the Democratic Party fracture to the progressives and the more moderate mainstreams. And who knows what emerges in the middle, but it won't be the same. So we can live in the same cycles, or we can choose different ones. And choosing different ones is hard because we get stuck in our narrative. And one narrative is anything Trump does, says is bad. Trump, bad man. Trump, dangerous. Trump taking over country. Trump destroying republic. We've heard it for 8 years. Simultaneously with Trump incapable of doing anything, Trump weak, Trump should be losing his memory, Trump cognitively in decline, Trump health no good, Trump can't be president. It can't be both. He's like Superman taking over the world, but bad Superman, or he's incompetent and incapable and feeble, like at the same time. Which one you want? Can't have both, and neither is actually true. Unrelated. A shorter show tonight. Because I have to had tech problems again, and I have to go jump on a Monday Night Football show. But uh, this is Amy Schumer and the losing weight. So this is again about how we look at weight and stuff. So, and I don't know Amy Schumer, but she said her weight loss wasn't a Hollywood makeover moment. Because if you've seen her, she's dropped like enormous amount of weight. Uh, as his Megan Trainer. Like that's my favorite one. It's all about the bump. But she's a big girl now. She's doing the ad, and she's tiny, like a little fairy, like with her pink, you know, little pink skirt thing, with Patrick Mahomes, like cheerleader outfit. Wow, Megan Trainer. Talk about a big switch. But Amy Schumer said it was about staying alive. I didn't do it to look hot. I did it to survive. I had a disease that makes your face puffy, can kill you. The internet caught it, and that disease has cleared. Okay, first of all, I find it interesting that with her celebrity and all, doctors, they didn't figure out that she had Cushing's disease, that it took the internet. But that said, that can happen. It's a hormonal disorder, causes swelling, fatigue, and can be fatal. Um, uh, you know, um, but here's what's interesting to me. Um, Amy Schumer's admitted to having plastic surgery and using Mounjaro, and she wanted to be pain free. Understand that. But why not just say you lost the weight because you didn't want the weight? I mean, why do you have to make up an excuse for it? Like, I guess what I'm getting at is if you look up any no look Cushing's disease, the weight isn't what's the problem. The weight's the result of the disease. You're right. You're getting an excess cortisol buildup in your body. That's causing you to gain weight and puff up, and it's very unhealthy, and it can be fatal. It can kill you, right? Um, but Cushing's causes you to gain weight. The weight isn't what's killing you. The cortisol is what's killing you. If you control the cortisol, you won't lose the weight. If you just lose the weight, take a drug like Amy Schumer did, that won't fix the problem. If you don't address the cortisol part, you're just gain it back. I mean, and it's not even the weight that's going to kill you. It's what the excess cortisol can do um, to your blood pressure, diabetes, all that stuff, blood clots, heart disease, immunity, everything. So you got to fix the cortisol, not drop the weight. So she's saying she dropped the weight to stay alive because she had Cushing's, but the weight is the result of the Cushing's, not the problem. So great that she lost the weight. That's still healthy. But I'm assuming she also fixed the cortisol because she said the Cushing's is gone. So she got it treated so she now doesn't have that problem, right? So it's a win-win. But why can't people just admit they want to look young? They called it the fountain of youth for a reason. We have to pretend we don't want to look young. Well, most people do. Most people would choose to look young if they could. No matter people say, I like my age and because you have no choice. But if you had a choice, would you really? If you could just be whatever, is that the pick you'd take of yourself? I wouldn't. I'd pick myself at 33, 34, for sure. Maybe 30, I don't know. Somewhere between 30, 35, I'd pick myself, I think. Yeah, I'd keep myself there. Same with weight. I mean, why do people have to come up with an excuse? Why can't we just admit we like being not fat? It's not actually a fun way to feel. It's not healthy. It's not comfortable. Or you're tired more. It's bad for your body, and you don't look as good. It's not. Why can't people just admit that? Why do we have to have a reason? Which, again, as I wrap this up, just comes back to kind of where I was started with all of this, which is, um, we just have. Look, notice how my shoulder's gone. It's been shot off. Um, we just have so much. There's so much there's so much conflict and there's so much distortion and so much lies, and we lie to ourselves about so much, and the lying about weight or about age or all of it, lying about what we want is no different than probably lying about the stuff we hate and see in politics when you know the Trump derangement syndrome. They hate seeing him succeed. At some level, maybe they hate I am a total blurry mess. I'm back. They I don't know if they hate if people hate seeing success, period. I will say this before we go. I've noticed when I watch CNN and MSNBC, all the hosts and all the anchors and everyone, the reporters, all look so sad and angry. It's like really sad. Even you know, um, yeah. I mean, all of them, everything. None of them look extremely happy, right? And I guess what I would say is, it's like if you imagine those people selling a product, could you imagine them selling a product and they're all like sad, like the sad people going to McDonald's, the sad people drinking Diet Coke, the sad people getting their insurance. Can you imagine if NFL commentators were sad when they did it? Like Caitlin Collins is the closest to not, and even she kind of has this sort of tight-lipped smile. It's like no one can seem happy. Why not? Because the world's bad, bad. I don't know. Is it a message people want? Grim, bad, bad versus positive, positive, positive? I don't know. Maybe some people just want grim, bad, bad. And Trump's going to drive them nuts because he makes everything opposite. He makes the bad stuff, he pretends it's good. He lives in his own craziness. It's all good. It's not all good. It's definitely not all bad. It's somewhere in the middle, a little of both. And that's where we all need to find ourselves. I'm Ron Nelson. Thanks for watching.